And this document, again, I'll put in your calendar so that you can refer back to kind of my finished product. But what I'm going to do to revise for this is first I'm just going to find all my new information. Take out your draft, your paper draft that you're working on. You could do this in your electronic draft if you want to. I just don't want you to be distracted by your Chromebook. So you decide if you want to do this on paper or in your document. But I would probably do it on paper if that were an option for me. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is just look at my paragraph and I'm going to circle any information that seems new to my reader, that might come from my reader out of nowhere. So, what paragraph should you do? I'm going to do one in front of you. While I'm doing mine, I want you to work on yours. Pick a paragraph that you think is in good shape for content, that you don't think you're going to do a lot of changing in terms of evidence or in terms of explanation. Pick one that is in really good shape because you don't want to do this cohesion work and then add new information. You're going to have to go back and do it later. Pick a paragraph right now that you think is one of your better ones for content. Does that make sense? You'll be able to apply it better. So here's what I'm going to do then. Now that I've selected my paragraph, I'm just going to read to you first. This is a piece that I have been working on. I started it last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. And it's about whether teachers should be allowed to carry concealed weapons while they're teaching. Okay? I am pretty stringently opposed to this. So I'm going to share with you my thesis so you know what the paper is about. And then this is one body paragraph. Okay? And then I'm going to model this strategy for you and kind of show you the steps I would take, and you can try it on your own. So here's my end of my intro and into my thesis. This body paragraph does not come next in my paper, but I thought it was the easiest one to show you this strategy with. So here's the end of my intro. In my most fearful moments, I imagine a gunman at my classroom door, and I imagine myself unsuccessfully trying to protect my students. So I understand the knee-jerk, fear-filled reaction and the temptation to harm teachers. But here's why it's an idea that is flawed at the core. I need to focus on being a teacher, not a law enforcement officer. So here's a body paragraph. The truth is that guns in households are more likely to result in an accidental death than an act of heroic protection. According to a 1998 study of gun presence in households, for every time a gun was used for protection, there were 4 gun accidents. I need a citation there. That's why those parentheses are there. Even though it's a bit dated, it also took place during the 10-year federal ban on assault weapons, which has since expired, so we can only infer that it has grown worse. Why would we not assume the same thing is likely to happen with increased gun presence in our classrooms? While some of these accidents may have been due to improper storage of guns, and hypothetically the teacher would be carrying the weapon on his or her person, the risk is still too great. A pistol-packing Utah teacher, Casey Hansen, who was featured in an NBC News article, keeps her handgun concealed at all times in the small of her back or in the zippered compartment of her rhinestone-embellished pink purse she bought at a gun show. I have lived the chaos of a classroom, and I know that sometimes things get set down where you don't intend them to. Is Miss Hansen always wearing her purse? If not, is her purse consistently locked up? Even if teachers have the best intentions, the opportunity for error is just too great. Stephen Gunn, a board member of the Gun Violence Prevention Center of Utah and city councilman, agrees. A gun in school is far more likely to lead to the harm of an innocent individual than the protection of innocent people. All right, so that's my body paragraph. What I'm going to do first then is I'm going to find and highlight anything, or you can circle, you can do whatever. Look at your body paragraph and find anything that is new, where you're bringing an idea in that you haven't already addressed in this paragraph, okay? So I'm actually going to highlight my topic sentence because I'm bringing in this idea of guns in households, which is kind of out of nowhere. And I'm going to go through each sentence and I'm going to think, okay, did I actually bring this up yet? Or is this new information? be hard on yourself. So if you can't decide if something is new or not, just mark it, because you can decide later that it's okay and leave it as is. I would say that's probably cool. You just brought it up. Okay, so think about from one sentence to the next. So what I did is I highlighted, okay, even though it's a good David, well, I'm not really sure that's equally as clear that I'm talking about that Venn study. Okay, and then I raised this tenor funnel down. So what are you guys thinking about that? Okay. So what I highlighted were details from my sentence, especially if they're early in your sentence, that it might be like, and then I'd be like, okay, then I go. See, it currently takes 18 months for one to get out of your head. Well, at the beginning of that sentence, we don't know what the 18 and 24 months is going to take. So, you might need to adapt to try it out. Okay. So look for places where, okay, where the reader might think, what's going on with this? I might be confused here. Okay. Okay? I want you to pass it before you. Come on.
I really enjoy this paragraph. I underline a lot, but I feel like the new information is received. Ron has a lot of information before.
So this would be that.
This is my best paragraph. The other paragraphs, I feel like I struggle with a lot.
I know.
Most because I worked on it, so I can just read words on it.
So if that's what you want to see. Okay. Let me move on. Has everybody kind of found some places? So this is not foolproof. Because the other thing is, remember, you're trying to create the perfect balance between surprise and clarity. And so you might think, well, if I repeat my old information all the time, then I might lose an element of surprise. The big thing is you don't want to make your reader confused. Okay, so I highlighted some things in mine that I thought might be confusing to my reader. I'm not sure if they are, and you can kind of help me out while I go through. But I'm going to show you a few places that I know I need to change something. And so here are some strategies. First of all, you might be able to move information that's out of order. This can be in a sentence. Like maybe you need to switch the stress of your sentence so you're leading with the second half of your sentence instead of the first to provide that old information. Or it might be that you need to move a whole sentence around, and that might fix your issue. And then after you've moved things, that's when you can start to use those linking strategies that are present on page 480. So let me show you, I think, my best example of this. And then I want you to actually have some time to get started and work, because it's the work that matters, not watching me do the work. So I'm looking at this section right here. While some of these accidents may have been due to improper storage of guns, and hypothetically the teacher would be carrying the weapon on his or her person, the risk is still too great. A pistol packing Utah teacher, Casey Hansen, I jump right into her as a person, but my reader doesn't really know where I'm going with that. And so I'm going to say something like, so what I'm trying to prove with this example is that the risk for improper handling of a weapon it's just too great to have in the classroom at all. And so I'm going in to give this evidence. I need to make sure my reader is set up for this. So I might just say this This is perfectly, and I'm using that this, which we want to be careful about, so we can go back and look at that later, illustrated by a proponent by the, I'm trying to say that she's kind of irresponsible. I want to bring out that I think her comment is irresponsible, that she says she has it in her purse. So by the flippant description of a, there, I can just use that, of a pistol packing Utah teacher. So I'm using this to connect it to my prior idea. And then we want to make sure we don't overdo that. But by a pistol packing Utah teacher, Casey Hansen, and I have my evidence. And here's where I really went wrong, I think. I have lived the chaos of a classroom, and I know that sometimes things get set down where you don't always intend them to. Is Ms. Hansen always wearing her purse? I think if I just rearrange these questions, it would make sense to do it would bring the old before the new. Because right now, the chaos of the classroom comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But if I moved this here so that I'm leading with the purse, is Ms. Hansen always wearing her purse? If not, is her purse consistently locked up? Bringing up the chaos of the classroom, now I'm thinking about her purse, and is her purse consistently locked up? I want to tie something there to the chaos. And so I might come back to that idea of it being locked up. In my classroom, staplers. And something else that is prone to walk away from my desk. Pencils are prone to walk away from my desk when I'm not looking. The classroom is a busy place. Okay? I don't know if that's perfect, but I'm trying to build this scenario where the chaos is connected to this idea of the weapon being dangerous. Okay? I know that sometimes things get set down when you don't intend them to. And now I need to bring it back to the language of the gun, because I need to bring it back to this idea of weapons and accidents, because that's what I want my reader to remember. And I have not brought in that language in some time. Okay? So I know that sometimes things get set down where you don't intend them to. Imagine if that thing, and we're going to talk about language here in a second, because thing is the worst word you can use, but we're going to deal with one thing at a time, right? Imagine if that thing is a deadly weapon proven to cause accidents. That's terrible. I'm trying to tie this back to this study, proven by the 1998 study to do more unintended harm than good. Okay? I don't know if that's exactly right. My goal right now, though, is cohesion. I want you to work with cohesion before you work with word choice. Because if you get your work in the right order, then you can go back in and make your verbs stronger and make your language better. Okay? So,